Yes! Hello and welcome into another episode of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I am Alex Donno. I want to take a deep dive on this episode on the Miami Dolphins at the bye week, the progress they've made, winning 5 straight games, the actual opportunity they have to be a playoff team, which, a month ago I would have told you you're a lunatic. Now, hey, it's not so crazy to think the Miami Dolphins could actually qualify for the postseason despite a 1-7 start this year. We're going to get our Dolphins progress report at the bye week with my good friend Brandon Liguori from Phinmaniacs and Fish Stripes. He is going to join us to break down some Miami Dolphins. I also want his take and his thoughts on Mario Cristobal at the U. Now, I know that Miami, Cristobal, that's been our primary topic of discussion this week. We had been shot out of a cannon talking Canes, so I did want to, kind of take a step back and talk a little Dolphins on this episode as well. I want to remind you guys that this and every episode of Donno Daily is proudly served by the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Oh, I was down at the Quarterdeck this week. I was out there on Tuesday, and I had a delicious poke bowl. I built my own poke bowl with fresh tuna, rice, avocado, tons of other toppings, the spicy ponzu sauce, which I absolutely love. The seafood is so fresh at the Quarterdeck. Even if you're not a seafood fan, they have unbelievable sandwiches and burgers. The baby back ribs are perfect. They are so tender and so delicious at the Quarterdeck. Get down there and wet your whistle. The Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill has 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day. We're going to be having another watch party at the Quarterdeck. We'll be back at the Quarterdeck Davy with that great patio to watch games. We'll be there to watch the Miami Heat on Wednesday, December 15th. I hope you join us down there at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. It's going to be an amazing time there with the 5 for $15 ice cold buckets of beer, the delicious food, the drinks. Make sure, by the way, not only watch every big game at the Quarterdeck, they have every UFC pay-per-view fight at the Quarterdeck for zero cover charge. You pay nothing at the door. How good is that? If you want to peep their menu or find the location nearest to you before you go, visit them on the web at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. And we are brought to you by our official sportsbook, America's favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com. Yes, you can use it in Florida. Unlike that suspended app that left a lot of you guys high and dry, BetUS has been fully operational for over 27 years. Almost 30 years you've been betting at BetUS.com and winning. And guys, we have the best bonus in the industry. BetUS blows the competition out of the water. If you sign up with our code 5RSN125, that's 5RSN125. That's the Donno Daily Show code. When you make your deposit, type in 5RSN125, and they're going to give you a 125% sign-up bonus. This is a full-service sports book. They also have a casino where you can play blackjack and other games, table games, card games, slots for real money. It's like having Las Vegas in your pocket. The mobile site works great, of course, on your computer, your tablet, your mobile phone. Get in there, my friends, and find out why BetUS.com is America's favorite sports book. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Very good friend, Brandon Liguori, joins us now here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Brandon, you actually get to relax and exhale for a weekend, watch some other NFL games because the Miami Dolphins, with their very late bye week, are not playing this Sunday. How you doing, man?
How's everything going, Alex? Appreciate you first for, having me on today's show. Hey, when I was on this show last time, being on the Donno Daily, we were talking about whether the Miami Dolphins were going to have a chance on Thursday Night Football against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. And now here we are. This team has compiled 5 consecutive wins, headed into a very late bye week. And, talking to Dolphins linebacker Jerome Baker after Miami's past victory, a 20-9 win against the slow New York Giants, he did say that he wished this wasn't a bye week because the team's been on an absolute roll. And, when this team was 1-7 falling on Halloween Day against the Buffalo Bills, they were finding ways to lose. But now here they are at 6-7. This team is just finding ways to win. The defense has been playing out of its mind. Tua Tagovailoa, you can see that growth again and again and again. And, keep in mind, remember, he would throw that, so-called questionable interception from time to time. We've seen a clean Tua Tagovailoa for about 4 to 5 weeks now. I know the offensive line hasn't been playing up to par. It hasn't been horrible. It hasn't been a superstar-like offensive line. But hey, give credit when credit is due. This Miami Dolphins team is a win away from 500. And what better way to do it coming out of their bye week, December 19th, playing at home versus another New York team, the lowly New York Jets, who currently sit in last place in the AFC East.
Yeah, and we look at the games to come. 4 games left on the schedule. If the Dolphins can run the table, it would be an astounding 9-game winning streak to end the year. And listen, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself because I know that sometimes in the NFL you're going to lose games you're supposed to win. Mm-hmm. It goes that way sometimes. But you mentioned coming out of the bye week, they're going to have the terrible New York Jets, who they already beat on the road. No excuse not to beat them again at home. Mm-hmm. They're going to have the New Orleans Saints, who aren't, who we thought they were at the start of the season, the Tennessee Titans, who are not who we thought they were earlier on. And then you're going to have a Week 18 showdown with the New England Patriots, who the Dolphins did beat Week 1. I think both these teams look very different than they did back in those days in a good way, right? The Patriots look a lot better. The Dolphins, after winning that game, they went on to lose 7 straight. So the Dolphins look a lot better than they did earlier on in the season. So like Week 18, it might decide a playoff spot for Miami. It might decide the division for the New England Patriots. I was having a conversation on Monday with our buddy Alfredo Arteaga, and he's actually pretty optimistic that the Dolphins can and will run the table. How do you, and I know that I'm putting anybody asking this question in kind of an unfair position to look the next 4 games down the schedule, but media guys can afford to do that. Players and coaches can't. I mean, are you feeling optimistic that the Dolphins could actually wrap this thing up 10-7 and be right in that mix?
When you take a look at the final 4 games, Alex, the game that really crosses my mind the most, and really the Tennessee Titans, because without Derrick Henry and, a possibility without A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, 2 star-studded wideouts. Hey, and don't also, forget about quarterback Ryan Tannehill, who was a Miami Dolphin for 7 seasons. If the Dolphins can somehow squeak past the Tennessee Titans, a January road game to open 2022, if they can somehow squeak past that game, it is possible for this Dolphins team led by head coach Brian Flores to run the table and win their final 4 games. I mean, who in their right mind would have thought that this team at 1-7 would have been able to accomplish such a difficult feat? And, even winning 5 consecutive games in the National Football League is a very tall task to do, right? But now we're talking about possibly running the table, winning 9 consecutive games. And, keep in mind, too, out of those 4 games, there is still 1 primetime game. Miami will see the New Orleans Saints, not led by Jameis Winston. We don't know whether we'll see Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian. That game is going to be played on Monday night. And the last time the Dolphins did play the Saints on a Monday Night Football, let's just, not really get into that. Okay, but, it is football. The Buffalo Bills, I mean, they haven't been playing too well. They should have beaten New England this past Monday night. Matt Jones completing 2 pass attempts or 3 pass attempts? And
2. He completed 2 out of 3.
So credit Josh McDaniels, literally running down their throats the entire game and still coming away with a victory. Hey, imagine a Tampa Bay, New England Super Bowl this upcoming February. Would that blow everyone's mind away, Alex, or what?
Man. Oh, wouldn't that would be absolutely wild. That would be wild. And I'd probably be rooting for Brady to get it done again. Yeah, people think that because I hate New England that I must despise Tom Brady. I always had to bite my tongue. Like, for the 19 years he was a New England Patriot, I'm like, I really respect this guy. He's awesome. He's the GOAT. But I don't want to talk about it too much because I hate the Pats. Mm-hmm. I would totally root for Brady over Belichick if it came to that in the Super Bowl. But we'll circle back to that. Let's focus on the Dolphins for right now. Is there a player or a handful of players who have been the biggest surprises for you in a positive way? I mean, obviously, we've seen some tremendous steps forward for the top 3 draft picks, the top 3 rookies on this team. Who's really stood out to you?
I mean, really, you really did hit it right on the head. I mean, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland. I mean, really, you could call them the three J superstars, because that's really – Jalen Waddle on the offensive side of the football, and Jalen Phillips' presence as of late on that defensive front. I mean, Chris Greer created a 3 home run draft picks by selecting these 3 guys. I mean, without Jalen Waddle, what is this Dolphins offense really like? Because it seems like Devontae Parker can't stay healthy on a consistent week-to-week basis. We really haven't seen Will Fuller as of much. And I think I did get a couple tweets sent into me this morning saying that Will Fuller was not spotted at today's walkthrough practice. So even though the Dolphins do have an extra week to prepare for their next opponent versus the New York Jets at Hard Rock Stadium, not being able to see Will Fuller as much as Dolphins fans anticipated, that's been a little disappointing because we've seen that his connection with Deshaun Watson in Houston was remarkable, just like Jalen Waddle's connection with Tua Tagovailoa this season has been remarkable, right? But look at Javon Holland. I mean, if they're, and we were talking about this past Sunday inside the press box, without a Micah Parsons over on the NFC, Javon Holland or Jalen Phillips could be defensive rookies of the year. I mean, they've been that electrifying. Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle both breaking records. Jalen Waddle, the most receptions by a Dolphins rookie in franchise history. Jalen Phillips, the most sacks by a Dolphins rookie, breaking Jason Taylor's mark. I mean, if you're not excited to watch these three guys in the near future, then you're definitely missing something.
You're probably not a Dolphin fan if you're not excited to watch this guy. You're probably a Jets fan or a Bills fan or a Patriots fan. Hey, I want to remind everybody watching this, please smash the like button. Smash the like button and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, 5 Reasons Sports. You guys know how much content 5 Reasons produces. There's been a ton of Canes content this week. There's always a ton of Heat content and Dolphins content. I got my guy Dave Dwork on Mondays putting out the great Panthers content as well. So make sure you smash the like button on this video and you subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. Brandon, the last time that we spoke, you mentioned it was right before the Baltimore game. And, Tua wasn't even supposed to start that game. He had sat out the Houston game with the finger injury. He's had a couple of injury stints this year, including being on the injured reserve list for 3 weeks with the rib issue. Then he had the finger issue that he missed a little bit of time with. He did end up coming in the second half of that Baltimore game and helping the Dolphins win that one, although it was mostly defense, but he made some big boy throws in that game. And he's been excellent. He has been excellent ever since. And I have at times, I've never been a full-on hater, but I have at many times I've been a Tua skeptic, and he is definitely winning me over. I've joked that I'm now a full-on Tua stan, but he's definitely making me a believer. There's still, though, a lot of people out there, Brandon, that are not believing in Tua Tagovailoa. We talked a lot on this show last week about that clip from Inside the NFL when Phil Simms and Brandon Marshall had some not so nice things to say about Tua. What is his superpower? He doesn't do anything very well. They're kind of ignoring the fact that he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've ever. Accuracy should count. If that's not a superpower, I don't know what a superpower is. Recently we had comments from Keyshawn Johnson, how he's not a believer in Tua, and he cites organizational things that, going back to, last year, the Dolphins didn't believe in Tua that much because of what they were doing with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then this year, the Dolphins went out and, tried to get Deshaun Watson. So, I mean, and listen, that stuff is certainly out there, right? They have tried to replace Tua before, but I don't know if you blame that lack of belief on Tua or if you blame it on the front office, because he's been proving the front office wrong these last few weeks with the way he's been playing. So why do you think so many people are just really not buying in to Tua Tagovailoa? What is it about him that creates so many skeptics?
I think a lot of people can maybe say that because we don't really see Tua throw the deep ball as much. I mean, if you see Tua Tagovailoa throw, more than one deep ball, your jaw's probably dropping because throughout a 4-quarter game of football, unless the game's going into overtime to make it 5 quarters, you're not really seeing Tua throw. I mean, you're going to see him throw quick slants. You're going to see him throw a couple screen passes. You're going to see him, compile a couple of RPO style plays. But I think really what is, Alex, what has impressed me the most about Tua Tagovailoa, especially during this exciting, impressive 5-game winning streak, his ability to make big boy third down throws and his ability to create plays that are able to extend drives, kill off the clock, and prevent the opposing team from securing the football with a chance to either tie the football game or win the football game. And, perfect example of that is this past Sunday when the Dolphins are leading 17-9 late in the fourth quarter. Tua's facing a 3rd and 6. And, he rolls out, finds Devontae Parker, who, when he's healthy, Devontae Parker can make 50-50 catches like 100% of the time. And he made about 2 or 3 of them to Devontae Parker, one going to tight end, Mike Gesicki. And, that set up a Jason Sanders, I guess you can call it a game-winning field goal, to put the game out of reach and prevent Mike Glennon and the New York Giants from attempting to, score a touchdown and try to convert a 2-point conversion. And I know a lot of people like to say that quarterback wins aren't really necessarily a stat. But I think when you have the ball, let's say with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and you're only still ahead by 1 score, 17-9, if you're able to kill 5 minutes off the clock and, capitalize with 3 points, I think you pretty much won your team the football game, And like I said before, I know this offensive line hasn't played that well this season. There is still some hiccups. But, you can't really put the full blame on Tua, because we've seen when Tua Tagovailoa is getting hurried, he has made some damn good, impressive throws, whether they've gone to Jalen Waddle, whether they've gone to Albert Wilson, who I've seen even his play increase within the last 3 to 4 weeks. And, what a great throw by Tua in the red zone, connecting with Isaiah Ford, who great balance by him to be able to keep both feet in bounds to, extend Miami's lead. Really, especially during these 5 weeks and this 5-game winning streak, Alex, I've seen Tua done a remarkable job.
Yeah, and so unless there is just a catastrophic drop in play for him these next 4 games, or God forbid there's like a bad injury or something, is one of the things that a lot of us were discussing after when the trade deadline came and passed, and the Dolphins were unable to make that move for Deshaun Watson that was widely reported. A lot of the buzz was they're going to go back in for him in March, right? When the new league year opens, they can go back in. But with the way Tua is playing, that can't really be a realistic thought, right? I mean, why would you look to make that move when the move now should be, how do you build around Tua?
Well, we also have to remember too, Alex, Deshaun Watson does have legal issues tied to his name. And, these legal issues, they're obviously very disturbing legal issues. We do not know the major severity, whether this is going to detriment his NFL career. So I don't think Stephen Ross and, Chris Grier, I don't think they want to take a chance on a guy like that. And seeing Tua Tagovailoa improving dramatically between week 1, a 17-16 victory in New England that really, aside from a Xavier Howard fumble recovery, the Dolphins would not have won that football game. To now looking at Tua Tagovailoa's growth entering a very late bye week, you have to be pretty darn impressed by Tua Tagovailoa's play, because the worst thing for a Dolphins fan, and I'm sure Dolphins fans are probably thinking about this in their nightmares, is Tua getting traded to another AFC East team, or just another AFC team in general, and seeing him succeed with another team that's not named the Miami Dolphins, just like Ryan Tannehill was able to succeed with another AFC team not named the Miami Dolphins. I think this team should, give Tua Tagovailoa a chance. I think this team should have full trust in him to lead this offense. And I can tell you right now, Miami's 5-game winning streak, you can say whatever you want to say, it has saved a lot of jobs. It has saved players' jobs. Mm-hmm. It has possibly saved Chris Grier and Brian Flores' job. Because I can tell you right now, if we were talking about a bye week with this team being 2-11 or 2-10, or something out of the ordinary that a lot of people did not expect this team to sit, you can say that this 5-game winning streak and definitely the play of Tua Tagovailoa has saved a lot of jobs. And hey, maybe it even saved Tua Tagovailoa. He might be Miami's starting quarterback come 2022, week 1, whomever they play.
Yeah, I'm expecting that now. I am expecting him to be the starter 2022 week 1. And, as recently as, 5 weeks ago, I would not have expected that to be the case. But I think the situation has changed, and I'm happy to see him succeed, no doubt about it. So something else I wanted to ask you about, because I know you follow the Miami Hurricanes as well. I mentioned it at the top of the show. This week has been absolutely lit. And the amount of changes to the complexion of the University of Miami over the past 6 days or so, going back to last Friday, because heading into last Friday, Miami's coaching search and AD search from the outside looking in, people were calling it a circus. Oh, what is Miami doing? They're not going to get Mario. They're not going to get a real AD. They're going to give it to some former player with no experience, and they'll keep a lot of people thought, oh, they'll end up keeping Manny Diaz. And, now you fast forward to today, and they've got Mario Cristobal. He was introduced on Tuesday, which is huge. And the financial commitment they're making not only to him, but what they're going to make to his assistant coaches is astounding. They're about to get Dan Radakovich from Clemson as their athletic director. So this is just a monumental shift. Has all this stuff surprised you? And quite frankly, do you think Mario Cristobal can bring Miami back to prominence?
Well, to answer your first question, Alex, these last two moves did kind of surprise me. I didn't think Mario Cristobal would move from a very elite Pac-12 program in the University of Oregon to a not so elite program in the Miami Hurricanes, who are looking to get back to that early 2000 form, right? But hiring Mario Cristobal and introducing him as the official newest Miami Hurricanes football coach yesterday morning. This is a monumental hire. And, one player that I immediately thought of when I was watching that introductory press conference yesterday, quarterback Tyler Van Dyke. I mean, this is a guy who, and even really Mario Cristobal himself even said, Tyler Van Dyke might be the best quarterback in the country. And, I saw, Ruthie Polinsky tweeted that out. And, that really kind of made my eyes go, because I didn't really think that for a head coach who barely knows his quarterback to already have that much trust in him and believe that Tyler Van Dyke might be the best quarterback in this college football world. We've seen these instrumental amount of quarterbacks that have come across this college football atmosphere. And, to call the Miami Hurricanes quarterback, it'll be very interesting, though, I will say, to see how he performs in Miami's bowl game on New Year's Eve against Washington State. But, hey, I mean, if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan, you got the coach 95% of the fans wanted. But now I want to see how this play determines on the field. You have to get a lot of 4- or 5-star recruits. It will be interesting to see how many previous recruits under then head coach Manny Diaz, how many of them will still stay committed to the U, how many of them maybe will, decommit. Because remember, when Oklahoma's head coach Lincoln Riley moved away, you saw some of the big Oklahoma name players were starting to decommit. And a lot of college players do that because, they thought originally that, hey, I thought maybe Manny Diaz was still going to be here when I got here to school and to play college football. Hey, I thought, Brian Kelly was still going to be at Notre Dame. Hey, I didn't think Lincoln Riley was going to get the USC job. I thought he was staying over at Oklahoma. So if you're a potential football player coming to the University of Miami, it'll be interesting to see whether the hiring of Mario Cristobal affects some of these players in a positive way or even affects some of these players in a negative way to where they look to other schools and make their final decisions there.
That's very well said. And I think so far so good as far as keeping guys committed. And I was saying this on yesterday's show that just as important as Cristobal recruiting, the next recruiting class, right? And you're gonna have early signing day coming up on the 15th, so it's right around the corner. But he's got to recruit his own players. Like he's got to recruit the guys who are already at Miami. And you talked about Tyler Van Dyke. Who, not only did Cristobal have glowing things to say about TVD also was very complimentary about Cristobal because they had a meeting with players and Cristobal before his news conference. And Van Dyke said he's very happy and the energy is just different. So it's always a challenge because, like you said, not only future signees, but also the current players you have. A lot of these guys were very attached to Diaz. Like this wasn't a thing where he lost the locker room and there was a mutiny, nothing like that. These guys were campaigning for him to keep his job. Many of these players were. We saw the social media campaign that they created after the Duke game. So, I mean, at the end of the day, though, and this from covering the scouting game, players making that transition from college to the NFL, most of these players are going to understand that their new coach, even if they like the old guy, the new coach is an upgrade. He's going to put them in position to win more games at this level, and potentially a lot of them put him in position to get more money come Sundays when they're drafted to the NFL. So I think a lot of these guys who may have been upset that Manny was let go will quickly realize this is not bad for me. This could be great for me.
And, Alex, I mean, Mario Cristobal is here to not win 6 games and, secure bowl eligibility. Mario Cristobal is here to turn around a mediocre program and make them into a legit New Year's Six contenders. And, if you want to get a little bit crazy right now, Mario Cristobal is here to potentially turn Miami into the next national champion, whether that's 2022, whether that's 2023, whether that's 5 years or even 8 years down the road. Mario Cristobal, though, I can tell you right now, is not here to win 6, 7, 8 football games. Mario Cristobal is here to legitimately turn this program around from not being ranked and being so mediocre over the last 5, 6 seasons. If you take away 2017, the year that Miami was as high as ranked as 2 going into the road contest against the Pittsburgh Panthers, if you take away that 2017 remarkable season with Braxton Berrios, you take away that 2017 season, the Miami Hurricanes have been a mediocre college football program. And again, Mario Cristobal is here to hopefully turn things around and get back to, that early 2000 stage where if I were to ask you, is the U back? You're going to look at me and say, damn right it is.
Beautifully said, my man. And you see right there where to follow him on Twitter at Brandon R. Liguori. Where can people find your work, Brandon?
So, most of my work is, also posted on the official Phinmaniacs website. That's phinmaniacs.com. Phin with a P, PHINMANIACS.com. And, also another, cool thing that I recently did, if you go on my official Twitter page, there's this website called Muckrack, MUCKRACK. It's pretty much, a journalism type website where you're able to post all your stories that you've ever written since you first started writing. So I have stories on there posted from 2016, 2017. So I would greatly appreciate it if you guys, check out all my stories that I've ever written, from the Marlins to the Dolphins, and even my college days covering some Florida Gulf Coast University men's basketball, women's volleyball. So I would definitely appreciate it.
That is great. And just so you guys know, on Friday, I'm going to try to do something live, hopefully in the morning. Not going to be at our usual 3 p.m. time on Friday because I'm taking the wife and kid up to Disney World. So we're going to be fighting lines and having a good time with my 3-year-old. Freaking loves Disney. So we're going to try to do something live in the morning. I'll keep everybody updated on Twitter as to what time that's going to happen. Make sure you're following me at Alex Donno. Excellent stuff again here by Brandon Liguori. I want to remind you guys, please support our great sponsors here on Donno Daily, like the official sports book, BetUS.com, America's favorite sports book. They're operational. Yes, you can use it in Florida. I get asked that all the time. Yes, of course. I'm a Floridian. I'm on BetUS every single day. And sign up with our code. You get the best bonus in the industry, 125% sign-up bonus with our code 5RSN125. And make sure you're checking out the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. We're going to be out there December 15th for a watch party, Miami Heat watch party. We'll shoot the breeze about National Signing Day as well, because that's going to be after the early commits get locked in. So join us out there at the Quarterdeck Davie location. Enjoy the delicious food and the 2-for-1 happy hour. So we will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.